What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by absolutely nobody. I'm on my own, so there may be a brief period of silence while I wait for a few guests to arrive. Hopefully I've not got an issue with my link. We shall see. I'll do some shout-outs to the chat, I think. Hey, Mung Patrol, good to see you. CGI Ranty, good to have you here. Infinite Loops, hello, hello. John Watson, probably the most regular of regulars. Good to have you here. Jonathan Doherty, nice to see you. Vinegar Strokes, nice to see you as well. Slick James, hello, hello. Missing your comments recently, Slick James Johnson. What's happened? James Spencer, good to see you. Joe Kovacs says hi. Hello to you too. Hero, Eddie Dinosaur. Nice to have you. Flat Out Faith. What's up, what's up? Big. Somebody trying to tell me my link isn't working properly. Let's find out. Hello?
Yo.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Nathan.
Yes. Can you hear me?
The link you've given us, me, Travis, and Jim are in the link, but you're not in the same hangout as us.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'll have to share the... That's weird. I thought there was something awry. Sort that out. User error on my part, it seems. Hello?
Yo.
I've just sent you the link to the hangout that I'm in now. Great start to the show.
Nathan, the link you've given us, me, Travis, and Jim are in the same hangout for the link you've given us.
Yeah, I've just.
But you're
sent
not
you
in that
another one.
hangout, so something's gone wrong with the link somewhere.
I've just sent you another one. Oh. Well, my apologies for the technical issues. Not normally off to this much of a sketchy start. Hello. That vegan guy. How you doing?
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Travis is in the other room here.
I don't know
It
why
was
there's a
up.
second room. That makes no sense. There we go. I've shared this link that is literally taken straight off the... there we go. People are joining. I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's a rookie mistake.
I didn't do anything wrong. Just did exactly what I'd normally do. I don't understand why there's a split hangout. Makes no sense. But there we go. It's all sorted now by the looks. Right, let's try that again. We are joined by Flat Earth Vegan Goy, Sleeping Warrior, and Travis. Good to have you all.
Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello.
Sleeping Warrior?
Yeah, hello?
You're very muted, Sleeping.
Oh, hang on, it might be.
I've had some sketchy starts to shows, but this is about as rough-edged as it gets, really, isn't it? Super slick, super professional.
Keeping it real.
We'll wait for Anthony to come back, and then we'll rattle on with housekeeping like nothing's happened.
What do you mean? What's happened?
Like it wasn't a really rough start with nobody here. And the
Oh,
wrong link.
you missed it. You missed it.
Right,
I
hello,
was giving
Anthony.
you a chance to.
No, nothing from Anthony. Nothing but technical issues. These shows happen. There'll be another one tomorrow. It'll be a lot more slick. No, nothing from Anthony. See, it's not just me.
You sound like you're in a different room, Anthony.
I can't hear him at all. I am very bunged up, though. Should we just get on with housekeeping without Anthony? Otherwise, we'll be sat in endless, protracted silences.
Sounds good to me.
Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nope.
Oh, Vegan Goy's off. Perfect timing, Vegan. Thank you so much for the support.
Oh, I'm here.
Be right back.
Am I off the show?
The only curvature that I can see is on Vegan Goy's icon.
There you go. You can't hear me?
Yeah, we hear
No,
you.
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Very interesting. No, I have no evidence of any curvature. No.
Perfect. Any signs of axial rotation?
Nope.
Not today.
Any evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container?
Still waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm really keeping my eye out.
Hey, Owen.
Hello.
Hello. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
No?
No?
No big G or little g.
Nope.
What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
That's a joke, right?
Well, when I was 6 years old, me and the kid across the
Maybe.
street, we tried to dig a hole, but we couldn't find anything like that. And I'm sure it's still out there today, but we'll keep looking.
I don't hold out too much hope. What about the presupposition itself? What about the R value radius, gentlemen?
None.
Well, the R value exists, but how related it is to the actual shape of the Earth? That's the question.
Yeah, can they prove Earth radius? No?
Nah.
Nobody?
No?
Nope.
Unless I missed anything, I'm
Except
pretty sure that's it. I think that covers the housekeeping. Welcome back, Anthony. Can we hear you?
No, you're still
Hello?
you're still in the other room.
Yeah, no sound. No sound.
You know, that's funny because I did a hangout last night and it was the same thing. It was ridiculous. Some people, well, I had a few snipers that came on. Luckily, we couldn't hear them either, but people were coming on and you just couldn't hear them. So maybe the Google folks have decided to help us out in the flat Earth community by screwing up our audio.
Maybe. It's probably just a hangout glitch. It started off pretty terribly with, as I say, nobody getting the link I sent them. Or I joined the exact same link, you know. It was just bizarre. So for me to join it and everyone else to be joining a different room is just weird.
Right, Nathan, can you hear me?
Chris Berry says, Nathan Oakley, did you know Eddie Bravo gave you a shout out on Twitter? Yes, a couple of days ago. It was on Instagram, as far as I was aware, unless he's also shouted me out on Twitter as well. Maybe there's another shout out from Eddie Bravo. But my knowledge was that it was on Instagram. I don't use Instagram, so I think Anthony Riley and Easter Mahalski both sent me the screenshots of his sharing the show. So thank you very much.
Anthony's trying to get your attention, Nathan. I can hear you, Anthony, but you're still very low.
What the
I can't hear you at all. It's the light.
It's a delight. Arwen.
Change the mic in settings, Anthony.
They haven't changed.
Oh, I can just about hear you.
Yeah, I can almost hear. It's very low.
Very quiet.
I've just done a restart as well. I don't know.
There you go. Well, were you just not talking into your mic?
Boo.
Now we can hear you.
Back in the box.
That was good there.
Hang on, let me just try this.
No, you hear you now. You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine now.
Fine now.
Really?
Yeah, don't fiddle
Yeah.
with anything.
Yeah, you're good.
It's something to do with Nathan then, surely.
No, don't blame me for your crappy computer.
Well, I haven't changed anything. I'm sat there, I'm watching my levels bouncing up and down, and I'm thinking, why can't they even hear me? What the hell's going on?
It's
I don't
because
know.
Google switched off the daylight savings time a few hours ago, and they're all screwed up down there.
I'm blaming Nathan.
You can blame me all you like. Not my
I will.
It's
fault.
gravity.
No, it's not gravity, Arwen. That's not what gravity is.
You don't know it. You don't know what it
You
is.
never.
So is the benefit that I've
it
missed
could be one of
housekeeping?
those. Yeah, we skipped over you. Yeah.
We missed housekeeping. No, do you know what a shame that was?
Yeah.
So where were we then? Quite a lot's happened in my 1 day of absence.
Right. There's quite a few topics to cover, isn't there? There's the moon. There's some fake subscribers. There's what else is there?
We might not be able to do the fake subscribers one. I haven't looked at that. I know I said I would do, but I've just forgotten about it. As quick as I said I'd do it, I've quit as equally as quick forgotten to do it.
Fair enough. Well, maybe tomorrow.
But, yeah, there's quite a few things. I mean, yesterday me and Ranty had the pleasure of a drive down to London, right? Oh my God, 4-hour drive. It should be 3 hours, right? It ended up being 4. I was on the way home. I was able to get from London, like, bear in mind London's like, well, Birmingham is halfway to London for me, right? So I got up to Birmingham in 1 hour. For the rest of the half journey that it takes to get from Birmingham to my house, it took 3. And it's because they're so-called upgrading this smart motorway. It's going to take 2 to 3 years to do it. And basically all it is they put a shitload of speed cameras in. And if they catch you doing 73 mile an hour, you get a ticket. But they call it a smart motorway. But people haven't realized that what it actually is just basically a fine or a tax motorway. Stop growling. Thank you. So I did the first half of the journey in 1 hour. The second half journey in 3. Horrendous. So I won't ever be doing a 1 day trip down to London again. I either have to spend the night somewhere or because it's just too much. 8 hours of driving in shitty traffic is just not worth doing. But it was a really good really good trip because obviously when we get to there, me and Ranty had to go and find where we were going and catch up with everybody. So there was the likes of Adam Meek in there, met Roxanne, and met the guys on the Flat Earth tour that they did. It's probably got a name. I don't know what it is. I only joined the conversation quite late on, but it was really good. Just apart from the traveling down there, it was so crap. Anyway, that's my rant over with.
Oh, you didn't mention your opening. That was class. I'm going to do it for you. So Anthony's brought on stage, so to speak, unexpectedly. So he says, look, I don't want to cut into anybody's time. I'll keep this very relatively brief. But contain yourself, Arwen. Come on. So he says, I don't like being a flat earther. You get subject to scorn and ridicule and horrible comments. And that's just from the other flat earthers.
Yeah. Which is true. I mean, everybody hates somebody in Flat Earth, right? And I get my fair share of Flat Earth hate from within Flat Earth. And that's cool. It's not really cool, but it's the way it goes. And I says to Adam Meek, and I says, how much shit do you get? And he says, I don't get anything, mate. And I was like, what do you mean you don't get anything? He says, nah, I don't get any shit. And I was like, so it must just be me and Roxanne then. And Ranty pipes up in the background. He says, no, I get it too. And I was like, hang on a minute. We need to give a shout out for Adam Meekin because he doesn't get anywhere near as much hate as he deserves. So shout out to Adam Meekin not getting any hate from within Flat Earth.
You bastard. You've just ruined his...
It was good though. It was a long journey there and back. I didn't get back till just after 11:30, and I'm just never doing a London and back in a day again. It's just not worth it. It's too much. So So that was the first point. What else do we notice? We noticed that there's a moon issue going on right now. So we need to put out an all points bulletin, right? Travis has mentioned this, and I realise that Travis is hot on this at the minute. And I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been punting this for ages, and no one's really picked up on it, and it's massive. The moon phase that we're going into now is the new moon phase. And at new moon phase, of course, it's the part where the moon and the sun catch up in our day sky. You look out the window and you can watch the sun and the moon catch them up. And we can all do this, right? Everywhere in the world, all of us can do this. But for 3 to 4 days, nobody sees the moon at all, right? We can see the sun, but we can't see the moon. Now, there's a real problem there because on the heliocentric model, of course, we should see the moon. Now, even if you say, well, the atmosphere basically bleaches out the earth shine, fair enough. But where's the crescent that should be there by virtue of the fact that it's passing in between us and the sun? Okay, it's not in a perfect line. It's not going to give us this eclipse-like shadow thing, penumbra and umbra penumbra thing. But what it is doing is passing within 5 degrees of the sun. And the sun's size is about half a degree. So if you double the sun's size, that's 1 degree. And then the moon is, like, at worst, 5 degrees away from it. But if it's the further away it is, the more of a crescent that we should get, because the angle should be there, because we are seeing 90% of the sun, 90% of the moon. But the moon goes missing for everybody. So if you're a ball Earth believer, you're going to have to ask yourself over the next 3 to 4 days, where's the moon? Because on your model, the moon cannot be, like, it cannot be invisible. It should be there. And nobody on Earth sees it. So for the next 3, 4 shows... Go on.
Yeah, so I mean, let's seriously talk about this because I just put in 4 or 5 pictures that I took this morning. It says that they're sending right now, so you guys probably can't see it, but it's in the Hangout chat. So I mean, I was at the Chesapeake Bay this morning. There was a couple other photographers, and I was talking to them about the moon, telling them to check it out, and I said, you know, look at the moon right now, and they looked up. I said, it's, you know, like 40, 50 degrees in the sky. I said, do you realize what that means? They said, no. I said, the moon is going to be in our sky all day. We're going to have a daylight moon all day. And then I said, tomorrow or the next day when it's a new moon, we won't be able to see it, but it's going to be in the same degree. It's going to be there still. And they looked up and they're like, so why won't we be able to see it? And I said, that's a good question. But let's think about that. You know, so if we think about the fact that if you change the angle, right, you have to change the angle or the location of the moon in order to diminish the light. If the sun is the source of the light of the moon's light, the moon has to be changing in its location in order for that light to go away. But tomorrow, when I look up and I get the Skyview app out and it tells me it's in the same spot that it was, or at least close, right? It's not going to be that drastic of a degree change.
Shout out to the Mind of God for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it.
So,
yeah. So let's dwell on that a little bit. I'm just looking for a picture now so I can put some on screen.
All right. So all of my pictures, it says that they were sent. So if you go to the Hangout chat, I've got 4 pictures for you guys. That was taken this morning at 5:30.
All right, I'm having a look. Yeah, are these the ones that you put on Facebook?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Nathan about these. Are taken at, hang on, let me just get into it. So I'm talking about the same pictures. They're taken at night time. Is that right?
This morning, 5:30, 5:40.
Let's have a look. Let's get these pictures because we need to show these, Nathan.
I'm missing. Where are they in the chat? I don't see them.
They're in the Google chat in the Hangouts. So if you go to hangouts.google.com, you'll see them in there. If you're not familiar, you'll have to just open up the top list, the top thing.
Okay.
Nathan, are you able to display these, or would you rather me display them?
It's much easier if you do it.
All right, so let's work out how I'm going to do this. All right, I'll have to open up with them in separate windows. That'll work. 3rd one, and then 4th one, and then 5th one. Right, so okay, so let me screen share now. Owen, if you just keep your eye on the back door. All right, so These are the pictures that Travis has just sent to me. Nathan, are we on?
Yeah, I can see it.
There you are.
So what we're getting towards now is that the sun would be immediately, like, obviously it's off at towards 7 o'clock in the thing. This is the angle first thing in the morning. But what we're seeing is this crescent, right? Now, all right, we can accept that you may not see the dark side of the shadow of the moon because it's not receiving any light. I'm sure Soundly would be able to pick out Earth.
Yeah, but I sent you a picture where you got it.
Sure. Well, the point is the crescent is what we're focusing on because that crescent is supposed to always be there. Now, bear in mind that the ecliptic path of the moon is like 5 degrees. Well, if the moon itself is about half a degree, then it's going to move up to 5 degrees away, from where it's positioned in the sky, based on the orbital path of the ecliptic plane that it's said to be on. The problem with that is that it means that this crescent should always be visible throughout the new moon phase, and it doesn't do it. What happens is this crescent fades with the rest of the moon. So there's a picture of, okay, so let's see if, there we go. So you can see that the moon's physically there in the picture now. But Travis, you showed some on Facebook yesterday. I saw a link of yours of the moon during the day. And
yeah,
you were showing it was fading out. Have you got? Can you put them pictures in?
Yeah, give me a second.
So what we're saying is this crescent part, when it becomes daytime, the crescent's still got to be there, right? Now it can't go missing because there is light that we're going to see caused by the fact that we're not sat directly behind it. The only time that it can be the case that we don't get a crescent is when it's not perfectly when it's perfectly lined up. But that's not really what's happening. We're seeing that this is on an angle, right? So the sun's obviously down here somewhere. It's probably over here somewhere. But anyway, regardless of the issue. And now hopefully Travis is going to send these pictures. Yes, this is what I was hoping to show. These are the better ones, right? So if I open up these.
All right. Now, if you... Okay.
Well, hang on. Give me a sec. Let me get them back open. Because these are excellent photos to make the point. So we've got that one. Oh, so they must have done the first. So right. So by daytime, look at how this is. All of it is fading out. So we're losing the whole of the moon. So the crescent part of it. Obviously, this is an older picture, but can you see that the crescent is going with the moon?
Yeah.
And it moves from, like, over here in California right now. It's on the bottom, so and then it goes to the side. That's always kind of confusing to me.
Well, this crescent part is supposed to be always visible on their model, because it's not perfectly lined up with the moon and the sun. It's not in a straight line. It's on the ecliptic plane. And the further on that plane it is, the better it is for us. And we know that it's got a 5-degree variation, right? So that 5-degree variation is the worst it can get. That's the best for the flat earthers. And the closer to the sun it is, then that's the worse it is for the flat earthers, because they can argue, well, you're all looking at the backside of the moon, you idiot. Well, if that's the case, well, why does it all fade out to nothing? All of it. So this crescent is always supposed to be there, even on the day where, if say it's on the ecliptic path and it's 5 degrees away, then on that ecliptic path, then it's still going to show this crescent because you're not 100% lined up. You're only 95. You've got 5% outstanding, and there should be a crescent. Yep. Nobody sees it. It's just not there. So what we need to do is raise awareness to everybody, particularly if you're in Australia, particularly in America, or along any coast of America, and obviously in Europe, because that's covering like half the globe, apparently, the alleged globe, and nobody's going to see it. Yeah, you ballers will turn a blind eye to it and say, and we're all saying, well, where is it? And you guys are just going to ignore it. And I think that's complete intellectual dishonesty. If any of you ballers have got any ounce of integrity, you'll be saying, it's a fair point, this. What's going on? And that crescent should always be there. It doesn't goes completely missing. It's as if it runs out of battery power just as it gets to the final straight, and it has to be recharged by the sun. Or perhaps it goes behind the sun, which is my position. But whatever happens, it's not consistent with the heliocentric model. Something else is going on. I don't know what, and I make no claim to what. But what I do realize is this is not consistent with your model at all.
Yeah, and you would think, too, that if the sun is lighting the moon, the light wouldn't fade out. It would still be bright. I know that you're not going to get as much of the contrast as you do in the early morning hours, but nonetheless, it wouldn't diminish.
Correct. It wouldn't fade as if you've turned the dimmer down in the living room.
Right. Yeah.
Which is what it does. So, I mean, this is like another example where there's not just a problem with the evidence, it's missing evidence. You can't have that moon disappearing on your model, gents. It doesn't happen.
So maybe what I'll do this morning is go out every hour and snap a shot.
Yes. Because if you can show it like disappearing over the day, I mean, is it still there now? Can you see it?
I can see it in California. It's still a little dark, but
I'm inside right now. I mean, if I walked out, I could probably locate it. You want me to do that? I'll do it real quick.
Yeah, go and have a look.
All right.
So while they're just toddling along and looking at their moon, the point is to put out an all points bulletin to anybody watching this and say, look, from now, you know, get a general feel of where the moon is, because we're going to be asking over the next 3 to 4 days for you as an audience member to participate and try and get a picture of the moon. Now, you can see it now, so you can get a gauge of where it is, what it's doing. But
it's going to be very close to the sun in the sky. I know it's not actually going to be there. You're not going to see it. But where it is on their model, it physically does exist. It is lined up with the sun roughly. So like you get it within a sun's width or a sun's diameter. That's going to be where the moon is. So basically, look where the sun is, and then you try and spot the moon, and you ain't going to see a moon, and you're not going to be able to see a moon. So the question becomes, well, why not? And obviously, you have to look at new moon on Wikipedia, and you'll see the Thierry Legault first visual new moon, and it's this thinnest slither of a crescent. But the point is that the crescent shouldn't even be. You shouldn't lose the crescent to gain it back. The crescent should always be there. So we shouldn't have this Thierry Legault picture in the first place, because it shouldn't go missing. It doesn't go invisible on the heliocentric model. That's what they tell us it does. But of course, it clearly doesn't. So we're going to, APB out, all points bulletin. Once that moon goes missing, right, for 3 to 4 shows, we are not going to see that moon. And anybody on the Ball Earth model, we're not going to find it. And that's a bit of a problem, because it doesn't go missing on the heliocentric model, boys and girls. Hopefully Travis has gone to find it and he's going to come back with an answer.
So we'll wait till they do before I change the subject.
I guess it's like Jesus. He disappears for 3 days and then he'll be back.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I got it. Hold on. I'll snap some shots off.
It must be getting thinner at the present, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking around the sky and I could not see it. And then I had to get a contrast. I backed up into some branches above me and I could then see it in the contrast. So hold on.
So it's clearly getting to the point where it's going to disappear for the three to 4 days. And obviously once it does go, no one sees it. It's like a little bit eerie, because we're all familiar with seeing the sun and the moon in the sky. And when you're told that moon then goes missing for 3.5 days, that's a paradigm shift, because if you're an honest baller, you've got to ask yourself the question, well, where is it? And everybody knows that we shouldn't lose sight of it. It should not become invisible. Okay, at totality, if it absolutely perfectly transits the sun and we get a solar eclipse, sure, I can understand that then, because that makes sense, right? But logic and reason tell us that on the heliocentric model, the thing does not go missing. So if you're a baller and you think that you live on a heliocentric model, which is a reification fallacy, in just to remind you all, you're going to have to explain why the moon goes missing, because it doesn't go missing on your model.
Right, before we move on, did Vegan Goy or Travis have anything to actually present in this regard before we change the subject?
Not yet. Maybe tomorrow I'll go out and take some pictures of this thing.
I cannot get it in my viewfinder. I can see it with my eye, but I cannot see it when I open my viewfinder.
So we're obviously right on the cusp of it disappearing. So by the end of the show, the chances are we're not going to see it. Nobody's going to see any part of the moon, right? Because it'll just get to that point where it disappears.
Sandra says the moon is at 11.2% waning at the moment.
11.
It's still just before sunrise, so you can still see it in California.
Ah, right. You've got less light there, so therefore you can see it. Gotcha.
Yeah, but explain that while it goes missing. Like, I mean, that crescent. I mean, I can accept the rest of the moon not being seen, but the crescent shouldn't go missing because it's still getting light from the sun. We should see it.
just want to mention.
I'm going to go
sorry,
outside.
Sorry to
and take
interrupt.
some
Just want to get
photos
it in
of this
before
thing,
it
so I'll
floats
be
off the
back.
screen. Sorry. So P900 call pick Sandra again. I've caught it at 5.7%. So just to give you a gauge of what's capable, what's possible. So over the next couple of days, we want to preempt it while people can still catch it, which is now. Tomorrow you might catch it if you're skilled, like Sandra definitely is. You might not. But for the next 3 days, it will go for everybody.
Thanks,
Nobody will
Nathan. I
catch
appreciate that.
Was that a dig?
Yeah. He said, yeah, Sandra can catch it, but you might not be able to.
I don't think he meant it
I
that
thought
way.
that was quite
No,
subtle.
I know. Just
Travis is sharp.
So obviously, in that case, then Sandra, you've just nominated yourself to be the chief lunar spotter, because you've obviously got this infrared. Because that's another question that needs to be asked. Can it be spotted with the infrared? I know there probably won't be, but infrared's quite a new thing for us. So it's like, well, what can be seen with infrared? So Sandra, if you're watching, make sure that you get a bit of moon lunar study on the go and see what can be seen with the infrared lens on that P1000. Can we detect it? What happens in that period? Can it be seen? And the answer is no. It goes behind. As far as I'm concerned, it goes behind the sun. It doesn't go in front of it.
So she's backing what Vegan Goy's just said. Based on his observation right now, the best time to catch it is sunrise and sunset. And P900 saying exactly that in the chat.
Sure, but when's the best time to catch it when it goes so-called missing? Because it can't go missing on the model.
Good question.
You have to track it on a traveling plane.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
hey,
man.
Chocolate.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Chocolate.
What's up, guys?
So, Sandra, when's the best time to catch the vanishing moon? Because these little boys and girls don't realise that it shouldn't happen on their model. It doesn't go missing on their model. It's always there, but it goes missing real world.
Well, P900s, it's always too close to the sun at Sleeping Warrior.
No, that's not true.
Wow.
It can be up to 5 degrees away from the sun.
Fair enough. Any last points on this subject? If not, I'm going to move on to something else.
No, I'm all right. Let's move on.
Yo.
Travis?
I was going to get my my tripod. I'm gonna mess with it and try to capture it and even just carry on. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I have a little story to tell.
Okay.
Before
Go ahead.
It'll be short. Before I came on this show, I was at a place, and yeah, I piqued somebody's curiosity about flat Earth, so gave him the channel. Maybe he's watching. Dutch guy. So who knows? Maybe I just flat smacked somebody.
It's kind of a shout out to somebody that's potentially just found out the truth.
Well, I was giving him my arguments. He was defensive, and a friend of his who was also at the table just didn't like it at all. He dismissed it earlier, the time I brought it on. They happened to be friends, but he kept on asking questions, and I had, of course, very well prepared answers because I'm getting all hyped up before the show, and I was in full energy, so I could just lay it out. And he just looked like he wanted more. So might have gotten him on the fence, so to speak. Anyway, we'll find out.
So the Purple Harpoon says the moon never goes behind the sun. Okay. Can you prove that? Can you prove that the moon passes in front of the sun? I don't think you can. I'm fine if you do, but I'm pretty certain that moon goes behind the sun. I said it a couple of years ago in the Sun and Moon group, and I'm saying it again now. Bob and Jaren both think possibly the same thing. They said it on Globebusters last week. Prove that the moon passes in front of the sun. I don't think you can.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to do a few shout outs to a few people. So Dotty, Gleam, who else we got? Heath Carmody, Miles Davis, and there was one other. Oh, what about Bob? So all of those people have actually got off their couch, sofa, chair, whatever you want to call it, and attempted to replicate the observation of a narrowing viewing angle causing things to disappear from bottom up due to that limited angle of view. And yeah, I just want to give props to all of them for actually doing it. So yeah, that's my shout out. May it continue. It's a very, very simple observation to do. The only couple of details that people need to be aware of is if you do it with a zoom camera or any decent camera with a big aperture, you'll have to look a lot further to have this effect happen. So we're trying to replicate what we see at these vast distances, 30 miles plus in some instances, this limit, the angular limit, i.e. the angle to the bottom of anything that you look at in the distance will be limited at a given distance. Now obviously that can be negated to a certain degree with zoom. So to get around that and put it into small scale, you just need smaller aperture. So the way I did it very easily was with an iPhone. Because the lens is near to the bottom of the phone, I can get a very, very limited angle over a reasonably short distance, you know, talking yards, not miles. And several people have gone out and done it. A couple of them did it with feet as opposed to yards. Well, unlucky for them, they didn't actually achieve the result. But, you know, hope they may reattempt it, who knows. But the ones that went out and, you know, did it in a few yards as opposed to a few feet certainly replicated the exact result. And this will happen consistently everywhere, always. You know, in the same way as if something gets smaller because it's reduced in angular size at distance, it will disappear. The same principle applies to the bottom of anything. The bottom of something will be a reduced angular size. There's going to be part of everything you look at in the distance that is just too small to see, and that is based purely on the angle that you see it at. As I say, you've also got to take into account the aperture size, or the diffraction limit, which is basically how much information you can resolve given the size of aperture, or how much you can zoom in on something to keep it really dumbed down. So your eye has obviously got a much smaller aperture than a super zoom camera, therefore you can't resolve as much information, you cannot see as far. Simple. Therefore this effect, the diffraction limit, comes in much quicker, and if you have a limited view, a limited angular view to everything in the distance, without question, always, then you will have the bottom of anything you see in that smaller viewing angle, therefore disappearing from bottom up, given enough distance and a small enough angle. So this is, you know, I was confident that people would go out and replicate it every single time. Even if they say they've failed, there will be a certain amount of this effect, regardless. So thank you very much to, I'll read them off again, Dottie, Gleam, What About Bob, Heath Carmody, and Miles Davis. Thank you very much indeed.
Can I quote Rumpus? So beautiful, so stupid. He says in chat, narrowing viewing angle causing objects disappearing from bottom up. Ha 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 ha, you utter moron. Denying geometry. Well, that's really funny, Rumpus, because it's not geometry. Geometry is a geometrical, mathematical-based 3D world concept. Viewing angles has to do with actual sight observation. It's a different department. Things work differently. You can demonstrate it to yourself. So denying geometry has nothing to do with it.
Can I just add as well that Nathan's been ridiculed for this by a lot of people and questioned by a lot of people. And he deserves a little bit more credit, because what he's demonstrated, and others have now validated and repeated, is that objects do get obstructed from the bottom up by virtue of the angle, right? Angle of attack, visibility, who cares what it's called? We know what happens. And it's only fair that Nathan gets due credit. So for all of you doubters and disbelievers and ridiculers and basic trolls, kudos to Nathan for spotting or managing to work this out or present the argument in such a way that everybody now relates to it, because everybody's validating the point. Objects do get obstructed by virtue of the viewing angle. And second to that, it unfortunately, the argument for logic and reason is out the window, because logically and reasonably, if we live on a flat plane, you should see the beach, right? Logically and reasonably. But when it comes to real world, you can show that the beach is never going to get seen because of the viewing angle. And that's a problem, because it means that logic and reason cannot be the basis for our decisions and our beliefs or our views on the shape of the earth. Because as this demonstrates, logically and reasonably, we should see the bottom of objects that are on the floor. And as you can demonstrate, it doesn't actually happen for some reason. What really goes on? Who knows? But the point is, logic and reason's out the window, because logically and reasonably on a flat plane, we should see the bottoms of things. When you get low enough to the floor, we don't see the bottoms. So unfortunately, logic and the reason can go out the window, like all of the other nonsense that you guys believe in.
Hey, Rumpus, just get in here. Chirping maggot. Come on.
A chirping maggot?
I prefer weasel.
Yeah, chirping maggot.
Let's do a shout out to one of my favourite ball earthers, Sly Sparkane. He's challenged Bob from Globebusters to explain how an equatorial mount telescope can track a object in the sky, being the sun or the moon, on one axis. And he's put up his channel. He said demonstrate it in a particular way, and it was to do with 3D Max, I think, or animation software or something. I'm not quite sure. I don't really understand the argument, if I'm honest. And I'm not really interested in trying to work it out because it doesn't really prove anything. But
Rumpus doesn't believe in flat
Rumpus,
floors.
how you doing?
This is amazing.
Hang on, just before we get Rumpus to ruin my point, Bob's accepted his challenge, and on Globebusters tonight, in about 4 hours' time, we will all be able to witness the counter to the claim that the equatorial mount only works on a sphere. So I can't wait for that one. So make sure you watch Globebusters later on, because Sly Sparkane is soon to be no more. And I'm hoping that Wolfie follows him, because I've asked Wolfie to double down on it with Sly, because I think the claim originated from Wolfie. So hopefully Sly will at least go, and then hopefully Wolfie will go with him. Hello, Rumpus.
Hello, you're an utter moron. All of you. It's just incredible how stupid you are. It's just unbelievable.
It's like
You too, Rumpus.
Rumpus, do you accept that objects can be obstructed from the bottom up on a flat plane now?
No, of course not. That's unbelievably
you're
stupid.
an utter imbecile if you say that.
Just
That's
draw
ridiculous.
the geometry of it, you moron. I mean, I can
It's on
just...
screen now, just for this idiot. It's literally on screen now.
Got it.
Yeah, this is non-flat surface, you utter moron.
Sorry, how are you going to prove it's not flat?
Unbelievable that you
What
don't
are you
understand
talking
that
about?
floors are not very flat. It's
So
just
it
incredible.
seems like
Built on
every
a hill?
example of this that gets put up is accused of having non-flat floors, like builders are going out of their way to produce floors that aren't flat.
Oh, they don't try, but the accuracy you're trying to get here is absolutely incredible.
The
I
other
mean,
problem,
building
the other
this
problem
Gravity
being that as they reduce the angle, the obstruction comes in before they reach the floor. We also see things getting more and more squashed again as the angle limits. So not at the floor. We're not talking about obstruction caused by the floor, because it happens before the floor is reached.
Yeah, because the floor's not flat, you moron.
No, you didn't listen to what I just said. So before reaching the floor, as the angle limits, the obstruction and compression, like in the screen now, although very blurry from Heath Carmody, this is the best we've got. These are other people's observations and not my own. We have the angle reducing and things becoming more compressed as the camera lowers, prior to it reaching the floor. So if you want to blame the floor as the obstruction, the problem is it happens before they hit the floor.
There we go. Someone's drawn a diagram that demonstrates on a flat floor it can't happen.
Don't need to demonstrate
There
it
we
in a
go.
diagram.
Sorted.
I've done loads
That
of
diagram
real-world
you're just showing
observations.
demonstrates
You're such
how
a
it cannot
wordsmith,
Listening,
Rumpus.
Rumpus. You don't need to draw a diagram. There's
There's
real-world
That diagram you
observations
just
of
put
it.
on screen demonstrates why you can't. The phenomenon you're claiming does not happen on a flat floor. It's
It does
so
happen.
simple.
I've just shown
Rumpus,
it.
you know what?
A child could draw this. and
Sorry,
get-
Rumpus.
understand what's
Listen to
going
what
on.
I've just said and acknowledge what I've just said. It does happen.
I
It's
don't
been
know, Anthony, I was
demonstrated.
talking to you.
Oh, if you talk over me again, bye-bye.
Excellent, fine. You're a moron.
So you want me to kick you out?
Well, no. I know you want to sense the reality, Nathan. I know you don't like me invalidating your position and making you look ridiculous. So I can understand why you want to kick me. That's
Sorry.
fine.
You've just seen a real-world demonstration.
Of a non-flat floor, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did you not? You're going to completely ignore it for the third time. I'll see if I can say it without you
I
interrupting me.
answered you. I
Oh, you won't.
answered it before.
So you're going to interrupt this point again?
Well, you wanted me to answer, didn't you?
No, I haven't said it.
Well, I know you can. Okay, you can make the point about before
Don't
you
need to
get
give me
off the
permission
top.
to make my own point. It's my show.
Yeah, you made the point. I'm going to answer it.
You just have to shut up.
Right. So you made the. You're
No,
making the
that
point
means
that
shut your
before
mouth.
you hit the
That means
floor-
shut your mouth while I make my point.
Okay, go ahead.
Go, Nathan.
Right. So, as demonstrated on screen for the audience, as the camera angle reduces and before it reaches the level of the floor, we see compression and obstruction that cannot possibly be caused by the floor because the floor has not yet been reached.
Wrong.
No, not a hand wave dismissal. It was demonstrated to the audience and has been demonstrated by about half a dozen different people so far.
Wobbly floors, yes. Wobbly floors, Nathan. They're not flat.
Sorry, I'll say it again, because Rumpus is literally going to ignore entirely what I've just said. Prior to the floor being reached, the angle becomes more limited and things start to obscure from the bottom up before it is possible for the floor itself to obscure because it has not yet been reached.
Doesn't need to get to the bottom. It doesn't need to get on the floor for the wobbly floor to have an influence on what you can see. It's really simple.
Oh, really? So the wobbly floor gets in the way, even though you're not actually in line of sight with the wobbly floor, Rumpus?
You are in sight with the wobbly floor.
Oh, really? I've just explained this now. This will be the 4th time I've said it. Before reaching the level of the floor, while still in mid-air and not looking level with the floor, wobbly or otherwise, this effect of compression and things disappearing from the bottom up takes place before any possible interference from the floor could be introduced because we have not yet reached the floor.
You don't need to reach the floor for the wobbly floor.
Yeah, we do. If you're going to claim that the floor's obstructing it, we damn well better be at that floor level, Rumpus, you complete moron. If you're not at the floor level, it couldn't possibly be the floor obstructing it, could it?
You can, if it's close to the bottom of the floor, or the floor is a gentle curve, or anything. A whole series of...
Oh, so the floor's now curved, is it? These builders are going out of their way to buy faulty boomerang-shaped bloody spirit levels, right, Rumpus? No. Most floors are just level. Pretty level. If they're not level, people tend to complain or trip over if they've got rucks in them. But I would say Heath Carmody, he's in a pretty regular house. Same as what about Bob? These people are just in regular houses built by regular builders with regular spirit levels. But you want to assert, like you assert about the earth, you'd want to descend it into farce and claim that the bloody floor's bending. What an absolute buffoon. These floors aren't bending, Rumpus. If you want to claim they're bending, fine. Demonstrate it yourself. Don't give us any diagrams.
You've got a long spirit level, Nathan.
Sorry,
a
Rumpus.
decent-sized spirit level. Say about 2 feet long. Have you got
You
one
seem
of
to
those?
keep ignoring my point about it.
I'm about
Can't
to
possibly.
make notes. It's coming up to the point.
Right,
Have
I'd
you
like
got
to
spirit
acknowledge what I've said because I've said it. This will be the 5th time. So
You made
before.
that, yeah, you're claiming that
Shut up.
You haven't get down
Shut
to
up.
this level of floor. I'm
Shut
disagreeing with you.
up.
You're claiming floors
Shut
are flat.
up.
They're not.
Right, I'll give you one last chance. I'll tell you to shut up again. If you don't,
Drop
goodbye.
a spirit level on
Right,
the floor.
bye
and you'll
bye,
see it not
asshole. You just want to
Drop
rumpus
a
my
spirit
point.
level on
Goodbye,
the floor.
asshole.
This is a lie.
I've said it repeatedly. You just don't want to listen. Before the floor could possibly obscure what is in the lens of the camera, this effect took place. It couldn't possibly be a wonky floor causing it because you're not level with the floor. Hey, Dottie.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Very well. Had to kick an obfuscator. I'm not going to tolerate this crap
Welcome
anymore,
back,
claiming that wonky floors are causing these issues.
Hey, Mopoi Law.
Hey, Mopai.
Can you speak? Can you speak up? I haven't heard you.
Hello, Mopai. Hello.
Oh shit!
You guys waited
Got
too
him.
long.
I got him. Okay.
Okie dokie then. So yeah, Rumpus really needs to obfuscate this and claim that the floor is causing obstruction. It isn't, because it happens before the floor is reached. Simple.
It's worth
Just
noting, Nathan.
Just
that-
start talking, Dottie.
Yeah, just talk. Just waltz over it.
Eventually. I just wanted to say thank you for having me on yesterday, sharing my video, and thank you for mirroring it too. I saw that you did that, Nathan. And thank you to everyone in the live chat. You guys are hilarious. But FYI, my name is spelled with the IE, not a Y. But like, keep the comments coming about my name because that shit was cracking me up. So you guys are awesome. So thanks so much for just taking me in. So
Cool.
Glad to have you on the team.
Oh, getting trolled.
What? Where? Oh shit! Sorry.
I'm in, guys.
But I don't know if Unorthodox is on this call, but I did actually make that video that he was talking about yesterday.
Travis, are you still there?
Of getting smaller,
Got the
like
wrong one.
so.
Sorry, Dottie, for interrupting. We got trolls. Oh, you're breaking up, by the way.
Oh, I'm on a mobile. It's raining pretty bad here, so yeah, my service probably isn't that great.
I can hear you again. Anyway, yeah, it's great to have you on the panel. So,
Thank you very much. Yeah, I won't be able to stay long today. I'm driving to work right now, but yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody. Glad I got to catch Nathan yelling at Rumpus. That's honestly,
yeah, it's always a classic.
Always a good time.
As long as it doesn't last too long.
Right, yeah.
Let me just say something, Nathan, with regards to what Rumpus was saying about the floor. The lens of the camera that's recording, it never actually gets to the floor because there's always a gap between, even if you were to get the bottom of the lens on the floor, there's always a gap between the bottom of the lens and the center of the lens where the aperture is. And that's the variable. Now, Rumpus's point is that, well, these obstructions can happen before it gets to the floor. Well, the camera lens never actually gets to the floor. So it would have to be a really big, massive obstruction for it to be able to obstruct it, right? Sorry, Rumpus, you can't scale.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I just got to work, but thanks so much again for having me on, and I'll come back when I can present another video and hang out for longer. So
Have a good
Thanks
day
again
at
for
work,
joining,
Dottie.
Dottie. Pleasure to have
bye,
you.
thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye, shout out to everyone.
See you later, Dottie. I mean, Dottie. Yeah, my Dutch tongue sticking.
So that's really going to be the thing, huh? They're just going to start saying that all these floors are curved.
Yeah, Rumpus believes that all building designers and floor layers all apply R.
So the football fields are curved, the bridges are curved, the ground, everything's
Flat,
curved.
it's the new curve.
Everything is curved.
Flat
That's
is the
what
new
it
curve.
now. Oh my God.
Yep.
These people are so
We're
crazy.
living in 1984. Flat is the new curve.
They have to scream obstruction is curved though every single time we show it to them. They have to scream that it's curved, that it's obstruction. They haven't got a choice. Otherwise, they just have to run away and let it go.
Yeah.
They don't
Big
believe in straight lines.
Mass hallucination of curvature somewhere. I don't understand it.
Not, they're basically denying
Hello,
their
how you
fraction.
doing?
They
Travis?
just
It's me.
don't believe that it's what we say it is. They're not letting it stick and sink in. They just refuse. Even though they can demonstrate it to themselves.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Everybody can just go out with a camera and do it themselves, and they still don't want to believe it.
I'm going to go back down to my local supermarket either tonight or tomorrow because that is an exceptionally flat floor. So I'm going to try and get that again tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, there'll definitely be earth curve on that supermarket floor.
Oh, God, yeah. Of course there will, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's all R cost. Like, cost cement, and you know that it adapts to R because of gravity.
It doesn't even matter. If you call it
But
flat.
see the logic in that? Like on their ball with the gravity to the center of the Earth. Yeah, everything that like cement settles level, which is basically R based.
Hey, Anon, how you doing? Say hello.
R is a natural
Arwin.
geometrical phenomena according to them.
Arwin, hold on. Hello, Anon.
Hello, how you doing?
Good to have you. Sorry, Arwin.
That's all right.
Yeah, but you can call it flat, but flat is level, and then according to them, level is curved anyway. So
I'm gonna try this test on Monday at the office. We have a very, very, very flat, shiny floor that goes for a while.
Well, I get it now. If you just use simple logic, if flat is level, and according to them, level is curved, that means that flat is curved. So see, it works out mathematically.
Hello.
Hey, Flat Earth Ginger.
How you doing?
What's up, Ginger?
Well, that's not nice. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, I'm going to take that as an opportunity to have a short break. So with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. Probably done it already. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
I was able to get of the moon right now.
What we'll do is we'll do an APB again at the beginning of the show, and then we'll just make the point again.
That's fine.
Cool.
I got distracted because this huge chemtrail plane was flying by, and I was trying to catch it. It was crazy. It does not look real. It does not look like an actual airplane. It looks absolutely ghostly. So bizarre.
Maybe it's just like plasma created, like a hologram, and that is simultaneously a laser that just creates that.
It doesn't look real. I mean, I'm gonna try to be outside later on and get another one that's not a chemtrail plane. And
yeah, but who knows what causes these chemtrails? Maybe it's not tankers floating around doing this. Maybe they have devised some kind of unique frequency laser to cause this just in the air right there.
Yeah, but I guess the question for me is
I can see that.
Like cool down plasma or whatever. I don't know.
The problem is that if you look with your eye and you see the airplanes and they look the same distance by size, and one of them has trails and the other one doesn't.
That's right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it does, because according to the theory about it that I prescribe to is that it's basically a built-in system, and while these planes don't actually really need fuel, they can just fly around, and the tankers are still there, and they are like remotely triggered according to the program, according to the map for the day. So the pilots, yeah, it may spray at a certain height at a certain moment, or it may not, depending on the program.